the rest of his clothes.
"I got caught up writing and totally forgot about these,"
he explained, dropping a sock on the floor as he scooped his clothes out of the dryer. He hadn't brought a basket with him, so he had to pile everything awkwardly in his arms. What was wrong with him? How could one person be so bad at everything?
"I've been working on a screenplay, and when I'm in the zone, I lose all track of time."
Esther's molars ground together. She already knew he was a screenwriter because he'd worked it into the conversation every single time she'd talked to him. It wasn't as if they even talked that much. They'd had maybe a half-dozen conversations, and this was the third time he'd mentioned he was a screenwriter. Esther was an aerospace engineer. Literally, a rocket scientist. But you didn't hear her bringing it up at every opportunity with every random person she happened to interact with. Even though being a rocket scientist was way cooler than being a screenwriter. Los Angeles was crawling with screenwriters. You couldn't spit out a wad of gum without hitting two of them. He wasn't even a real screenwriter. He was in the graduate screenwriting program at UCLA. A fact he'd mentioned twice before. So he was just a student. If he'd ever sold a script or had anything produced, he for sure would have brought it up in conversation by now. Probably several times.
"All yours,"
he announced, like he was being magnanimous by not parking his laundry in the machine the rest of the day. He collected his clothes from the top of the dryer, dropping another sock in the process, and started for the door. "You dropped some stuff," Esther said. He stopped and spun around, looking helplessly from the precarious bundle of clothes in his arms to the socks on the floor.
"Do you think you could,
She stooped to grab his socks off the floor. More ugh. And balanced them on top of the laundry he was holding.
"Thanks,"
he said.
"You know you shouldn't use fabric softener."
"What?" He indicated her bottle of fabric softener with his chin.
"The waxy buildup that stuff leaves behind affects a fabric's natural ability to absorb moisture. I use a chemical-free laundry powder that's biodegradable and doesn't leave a residue."
Unbelievable. The guy who didn't even know basic laundry room etiquette was lecturing her about her fabric softener. She gave him a thin-lipped smile. "You know everything's a chemical, right? Even water. There's no such thing as chemical-free." His forehead creased, making his eyebrows draw together.
"I meant bad chemicals, like the stuff they put in commercial cleaning products."
Okay. At this rate, Esther's molars were going to wear down to the size of Tic Tacs. "Thanks for the tip."
"See ya,"
Jonathan said, looking pleased with himself as he left. Rolling her eyes, she cleaned the lint trap on the dryer, because, of course, he hadn't done it, and transferred her wet load out of the washer. She fed 4 quarters into the ancient machine, and as it rumbled to life, she set the timer on her phone for 45 minutes. Because she was considerate of the other people she shared the laundry facilities with, and she knew how to use a damn clock. As she was letting herself back into her apartment upstairs, her phone started blaring, Pocketful of Sunshine, the ringtone she'd assigned to her best friend. Jin-hee Kang, known as Jinny to everyone but her Korean parents, was the only person Esther knew who actually liked to talk on the phone anymore. The rest of her friends communicated via texting or social media. Not Jinny, though. She liked to chat. Esther kicked her apartment door closed behind her as she fished her phone out of the back pocket of her jeans. Her apartment reeked of cigarette smoke again. Jonathan must have come upstairs and gone straight onto his balcony for a smoke. "Hey, what's up?" she said into the phone as she trudged over to the balcony door and slammed it shut. "What are you doing today?" Jinny asked. It was Sunday, and the only thing Esther had on the agenda was laundry, cleaning out the cat litter box, and maybe burning through some of the TV shows stacking up on her DVR. She regarded her reflection in the glass door, the dull brown hair twisted.